All right, so we're going to get this started now. It's 5:05. So, hi everyone, my name's Sydney, for those who don't know me. We've also got Simon here. You can't see his lovely face.
Hi guys, Simon sitting here. I'm at a remote location at the moment, but I'm all in. You just can't see my face.
And we've also got Edwin here. He's our sales rep for Melbourne and other places. I'll let him introduce himself.
And other places. I do the bottom half, Sydney does the middle half, and then Paul does the top half, and Simon does the whole everything. So I look after Melbourne, South Australia, and WA, and Tassie. Let's not forget Tassie. I don't know if anyone's here from Tassie. So Simon's up in Brisbane doing some KNX training and sits in Sydney, and I'm in Melbourne. So we're covering the whole East Coast today. But thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So we're going to run you guys through a bit about what we saw at the Light and Build in Frankfurt this year in 2022. So for those of you who don't know, it's basically a big exhibition in Frankfurt that all the technology for automation and lighting come together and show you the new products that are being released for the following year. So basically, to put this into perspective, it was my first time there ever. I've been working for Ivory Egg for over 4 years now, and it put a lot into perspective of how big KNX is. So basically, there's over 13 halls. Each hall is a different building. I didn't realize, I knew KNX was countrywide, but I didn't realize how much power and pull it did have in Europe. It's pretty much a standard for it to be in any home. And even to put it in perspective, ABB pretty much took up half of one whole hall, I would almost say. It is huge. The amount of money and time and effort that they put in, and the amount of people that walk through there is crazy. Yep. So I definitely recommend for any of you that are able to come in 2 years' time. We'd love to have some of our customers come to Light and Build and visit there with us, and come and stay in Frankfurt, and come and even meet some of the manufacturers and suppliers in person and see what they're doing. There's no better way than seeing it face to face, because being all the way over in Australia doesn't really put it into perspective for you.
And you also get to drink German beer.
And Belgian beer. Belgian beer is the best beer.
So guys, just a little quick one. This is about my third or fourth Light and Build, and it doesn't fail to impress me. It's the pinnacle of all the shows for especially the KNX crowd, but it's not just KNX. To give you an idea and perspective, the halls, there's about 13 halls, as Sydney said, and they're as big as our convention centre, one of the halls. There's buses that go from hall to hall. You can't do the whole stand. It's open from 9 o'clock every day to about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. To give you an idea and perspective, our biggest local manufacturer, ABB, was represented with a stand that was 2,500 square metres and had a bar and a restaurant on it. Most of the stands have bar and restaurants on them. They are only up for 7 days, and they're there to focus and display their latest and greatest products. So for you guys that haven't been to it before, it's really a big eye-opener. And I suggest that if you have the chance or opportunity, 2024, in around March to April in 2024 is the next Light and Build. It's every 2 years. Try and save up your money. Talk to us about it. Let's see what we can do. But we'd love to get a contingency to go over next year and have a bit of work and a bit of fun at the same time, meeting and touching and going over the new products. So that's just my idea about perspective, to give you an idea of just how impressive and how big this show is. Most of the KNX manufacturers are represented there as well.
Yeah. And also I want to touch on how big this year the focus was on energy management. It was very prominent over there, didn't you think, Simon?
Yeah, look, energy management's always coming through and through forward, but, you know, we saw a lot of collaboration with especially cogen kind of things. So we're looking at much more involvement with solar and, to be honest, a lot more involvement with EV. So that's electronic vehicles, and that was pretty impressive as well. And the integration with that, there was a lot to see with that as well. So, yeah, what we've done is we really feel like we're representing Australia and your needs. So what we did, we went around to all the applicable stands, gather the greatest information, try and bring it back to you and present it to you as if you were at the start show.
Yeah, it was good even to see. I believe the brands that we are carrying are really some of the best KNX brands there. So it was very, very impressive. And it was really, really great to see how much they wanted to engage with us, even though we're such a small country. We obviously are making an impact over there, and they all want to work with us as Australians. So be aware of that. Just so you guys can see, these are some of the brands that we are going to cover. And then at the very end, there's a question and answer session, and whoever answers the first 10 questions, so there's 10 individual questions, there's 10 prizes. So we're just going to go in alphabetical order of some of the products that we saw. So we'll start with ABB. So ABB just released their 10-inch Smart Touch. Simon, I might let you go into some more detail.
Yeah,
on
guys, this was a massive change from ABB. So ABB, as we know, is quite reliable and and very functional, but aesthetically probably behind the eight ball a little bit. But this came out with a beautiful, fresh design. It's a nice size touchscreen. It's got KNX connections on it. It can do their intercom as well. It can look for IP cameras. It was revised. Outlay, and it's right in line with their room control touch stuff. So again, it had a lovely bezel available in metal finishes and a lot of different colors. I thought it's a fresh, brand new look, and I'm really looking forward to getting a few samples of this and looking forward. It was quite impressive, the layout and how intuitive the design was.
All right, so we'll move on to the next one. So we've got the ABB Energy Actuator.
So guys, again, this is something that's kind of got brought out a little bit before the show, but it was intended to be brought out from the show. So ABB is always pushing ahead with actuators, and they've had a range of actuators previously, which were current detection, which was really great, but it didn't give us the full gamut of metering values that we require. This new generation of switch actuators is the latest generation, and every channel on that relay that you see, and they can come in 2, 4, 8 and 12 channel relays. Every channel of that relay is a real meter. Okay, we can derive from each of those channels voltage, frequency, power factor, current, consumption, instantaneous. Okay, along with that, heavily focused towards energy monitoring and load shedding. Okay, so we can have different scenarios happen depending on different values that come back from main meters or intermediate meters. A really handy product when you're looking at balancing loads amongst solar and batteries, reducing your footprint. Then you can put in certain thresholds to turn on and off the channels within the device directly. It was a bit of a game changer, and I think we'll see a lot more of this in our market.
And then we've also got the Energy Analyzer from ABB.
So again, guys, this energy analyzer is something that has been brought out previous to the show, but we thought we'd highlight this here. This energy analyzer takes other meter values from other meters. It could be water meters, it could be generic meters. It also allows for meters that are connected via a Modbus system. It collates them and it can display it within user interface through a web browser and an app, but it also directly links to KNX. Again, this would be an essential product for jobs which have load shedding, priority loading, and solar and stuff like that. A really comprehensive product that is not only just a metering product and a great display and reporting of metering, but it's also fully integrated into KNX. We see a lot of benefit and value for this product going forward.
All right. We've got the Basalte Adelante. So this is the new Basalte intercom that is being released. Hold tight, though. I don't believe this will be released until end of next year. They say mid next year, but I reckon end of next year, even maybe 2024. Basically, they're going to make a configurator so you can change it up however you want to change it. You can have, the lights on the top. You can have all these different modules. You don't have to have them They've got, so that number there, the number 16, can also be a key fob reader or a card access reader. And then you also have it without the number with a circle on it. They're also releasing a keypad with it. So these come in all the different ranges and all the different finishes that the Basalt already offer. So the LE screen is actually IP resistant and can be put outside. As well, the benefit of having their intercom is that the intercom calls directly into the Basalt app. So with the Basalt Home, normally you have to have a separate intercom app on your phone and iPad. It only will call directly into the LE or the Lisa screen. So now their intercom will call directly into the app on your phone and your iPad. This pretty much was one of the huge stars of the show. Everyone was going over and touching and feeling it. It was pretty amazing. So do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, so this was a really, really exciting product, guys, to bring to market. It's a part that's been missing out of the Basalt repertoire for a bit. And what it does is it allows for, typically Basalt, they've thought of every way you can do it. So basically, if you scroll on that screen to your left, it comes up with a keypad. That keypad is a dynamically changing keypad. So if you're using the same code every time to put into the screen to open your door, then obviously your finger marks are left on that code. But every time you change the code, the keypad layout changes. So this allows for not like leaving any marks on the screen. Just things like they've got an extra camera, which is a wide angle camera, which is you can get two views from when your intercom rings, one from the top camera, one from the camera in front. Just little subtle things that the Basalt always are really good at thinking about. When you ring the intercom, you automatically get an image of what you look like to the occupant through the camera. Okay, so you can position yourself in the right perspective for the occupant to see who is at the door. Again, a really groundbreaking product. They've got integration with keypads, fob readers, fingerprint readers. And we're really excited to see that to be integrated inside the Basalt app from end to end. But that also extends for remote access too. So within the Basalt ecosystem and the third-party access server, this will also go through to the phones and the apps, where before the intercom only rang through to the LEs and the touch and the Lisa screens. This is now fully integrated into the app. Another really good step from Basalt. Just quickly on top of that, it does allow really great functionality for when you're doing multi-domestic. So that intercom can be scrolled through. It's a beautiful UI. You can scroll through the users. You can see a picture of the user. Click on them, then it'll call that unit or
as well. With the camera, when somebody calls in, you can actually see the side view. So you can see if someone else is hiding behind the person that's rung the intercom, which is really interesting for security purposes. As well, on the bigger screen, the Lena that's about to be released, when they ring, you can also view the other IP screens and the IP cameras.
If I can just add to that quickly, as a pleb that was sitting back in Australia when my bunch were out there having fun, Sydney and Simon recorded some really good videos, first-hand experience with these products. So whoever's here that hasn't perhaps seen all the videos we posted on LinkedIn, or I think some of them went through our socials, our Instagrams and that, there's a really good video. Yeah, on the website, okay, showing exactly that camera that they're talking about now, where you see the perspective of what the LE essentially outside is seeing its camera, as well as that separate camera app. So that was a really good video just to take that information from.
Guys, just answering a quick question in the comments here, because I want to keep this live and fresh. The intercom is SIP, but it's not for working with other third-party devices. It's only for the Basalt EcoStructure. You will need a Basalt server with it, and you will only use it within the Basalt ecosystem. Okay, so it's not for a third party. You can't buy it and have a standalone intercom. That's not the idea of the Basalt intercom. It's all part of their system.
So we'll move on. Oh, sorry, I moved one more. So we already know about the release of the Lena, the 10.1-inch touchscreen. We just got to see it live in the flesh. It looks beautiful. It's a really, really great size and point of difference as well for the Basalt home.
So just a little comment on this, guys. We've seen everyone go away from, these bigger touchscreens previously, and then they've gone to the smaller touchscreens. Now, not just Basalte, but a lot of the manufacturers, hence ABB, have got the 10-inch. Seems to be popular going back to that like iPad Pro size. And let me tell you, it was really lovely to have the real estate to show the beautiful graphics and layout of the Basalte app on it. I definitely think this has got some merit to it for sure.
I agree. But it was also interesting. People are moving towards the bigger screens, but then there were a lot of smaller screens as well. So the size of the Lisa, that 4.3 screen, those little ones, they were also everywhere. So keep that in mind. It's good to have that flexibility available. So
right screen for the right job. So
yes,
the
exactly.
Lisa little screen is just perfect just for a room control. The Ellie is kind of in between where people don't want any kind of big screens on their walls, and the
Less wall
Lena
lacking.
is and the Lena is just a really lovely display to maybe put in an entertaining area or a family area or something like that.
Yeah. So next we saw, obviously we know about the plano speakers, so the ones that are more flush mounted into the walls. What we just saw them in the flesh and all the different finishes, and we were just really blown away at how aesthetically beautiful their switches are. Even we went to the Basalte showroom, and they had the purple finishes tied in with the little tiny accessories within the home and the homewares, and it really, really was a beautiful feature in a home. So we need to get them in front of some designers, even in the surround being white. And they tied that in with all, the white Sentitos, the white frame Lisas, and they just looked so beautiful and elegant and were really nice features in a room. So Faradite have excitedly come out with the motion sensor in KNX. It was supposed to be released at the end of this month, but I believe after Light and Build, a lot of suppliers have been submitting their products to be approved by the KNX Association. So it has been delayed a little bit. Hopefully by the beginning of next year, the KNX motion sensor will be released, which is very exciting. As well. So they've just released those pinhole little sensors, as you can see here on the screen. They actually brought out a mounting plate. So they've just formed a relationship with another manufacturer in the UK, and they're creating nice frames and lots of different finishes that you can cover up that pinhole sensor with. As well, we don't have photos, but Faradite are also releasing their switches, so that the 5-button tap switches in KNX in metal finishes. So they've asked for us not to share any photos, but they are being released soon. Word of mouth, they were showing them at display, so we can tell you about them.
So guys, super exciting. We've been waiting this for a long time. The Faradite sensors that are standalone have been rippers for us, and they are really good additions to any kind of thing. They're a small footprint. They're a really good looking sensor, high functionality. They've got lux levels on board with detection and great functionality. So now we've got the option to have them in KNX, which is really great. And as Sid said, it was really good to see they've got these new switch range that is available. Unfortunately, they want to release it themselves, but they still had it on the show, so we're going to respect them and not release it and show it to you. But let me tell you, holding onto those switches was really, really exciting as well. So keep an eye out for those coming out. They're a full metal solid switch with it's going to be KNX, so we're still going to wait a little bit on those ones.
So we've got the Gira home server, which is very exciting.
So guys, if a few of you guys might know, we've been a really long-time Gira distributor, and we love Gira products. For a long time, home server has been the standard in Europe for home servers and screens, and this has been by bar none the most popular and the most widely used home server. For a while, we felt Gira were going to let this go a little bit, but they've revitalized this. And I'll tell you what, that some of the changes are great. So full programming in HTML5. So the graphics look really good. It's really powerful. Part of the reason why we didn't push it so much before is because the configuration of it was very clunky. They've refined that. They've renewed that. It looks fresh. It looks inviting. Super powerful, guys. It can have visualization, can have a look in a few different ways. So you can see here, the little snapshot that we've got is the typical visualization. But if you like the look of the X1 and the G1, then you can actually get that kind of feel and look at it as well. Very much suitable for large commercial jobs and big domestic jobs. Another one to can't wait to bring you a bit more about it, but a real game changer. They've really stepped it up, and it's something that's really worthwhile having a look at now.
Next, we have the Gira F1, which is super, super exciting. Basically, what it does is it allows one intercom allow to call multiple apartments or multiple homes. As well, it allows from like a weather station to communicate with multiple apartments as well. I'll let Simon go into some more detail.
So guys, these guys have been addressing an age-old problem. Everyone that's using KNX to do units, we've always got the problem of the multiple networks. We've got the problem where we've got a building network or the owner's network or the backbone network, which runs the intercom, the metering and stuff like that. Then we've got each apartment, which has got its own IP network. This device is the device that sits in between both. So basically you have your customer network plug into the private side of the LAN connection, and you can see on the photo there. And then you have the public part of the building or the common part of the building plugging into that part of the LAN. So this is fully programmed through ETS, and you can actually use it as a filter to allow communications through. And like Sid alluded to, basically what it allows like a block of units to share one weather station, and all the data from that weather station to come down each of the units and go through the through to each of the apartments to be used. But not only weather stations, things like metering can come across from both sides to one to the other without keeping the integrity of what we call segregation and demarcation. So a real big game changer. It splits, your LANs together. Not only that, as Sid mentioned too, it also allows for intercom communications. So they've not just been selfish and kept it to their own intercom. It's actually fully SIP enabled. So if you have a SIP outdoor station that has to go to multiple apartments in the indoor station, you can use this as well at the same time as you're using the KNX communications. So imagine if you had a SIP communicator on one side, like a door station, and each of the screens indoors were clients, SIP clients, then this can facilitate and allow traffic for just that SIP communication through to that intercom and back out, as well as doing the full KNX functionality. A real good product, long time coming. A real pat on the back for Gira. It's addressing a massive problem for anyone that's doing apartments, multi-domestic apartments. This is a definite product you must have. It's a must-have product, really valuable.
Hey Simon, we just got a question asking what is the front slot 4G or memory? Do you know what the front
No,
slot
it's purely for a firmware update for the device. It's got no other functionality. It's not a 4G slot. I'm really sorry. It'd be really great if it was, but it's not. Yes, it can be used for memory, for doing diagnostics, and for taking. I think you can actually do some diagnostics. So there might be some recording of Telegram stuff and some certain faults and stuff like that. But essentially, it's pretty useless for whatever you think it's going to be. It's not a 4G. I'd love it to be, but it's just not.
Okay. As well, we've got the Gira Sensor 4 switches. So they're those bigger ones that come in 1, 2, and 4 gang already that were released. So now they're allowing those System 55 rockers to be put in the Sensor 4 same style and size. So you've also got multicolor LED feedback now on those little slits. You can see that one highlighted in the yellow. As well, you've got temp and humidity behind those switches as well. So that's really exciting. It comes in all different colors in the System 55 range, and it goes to 1, 2, and 3 gang in the System 55 range that can now go into a Sensor 4 frame. So I was very impressed with those on the stand. I thought they looked actually really, really nice.
Yeah, Sid, I have to agree with you. I thought they looked really, really good. It's not something I typically thought of them doing, but I think they've had enough feedback from the market saying that the original Sensor 4 switches, as beautiful as they are, they're a bit too big for what people wanted, and people wanted the option of having those finishes that that engraving and those kind of things available in the general usual style. And so Gira listened and answered, and they've come out with this. And again, I think it was a great move from them. I think it's hard for you guys to see, but to see it in flesh, you'd have to take our word for it. It was impressive. I thought it was a really good move.
Yeah, we'll look at getting some cases together. They will be released. So the Gira Sensor 4 switches and the F1 will both be released at the beginning of 2023, apparently. Hopefully. Don't take my word for it, though. That's what they said. As well, we've got the Intesis Multibox 700 series. So this was really exciting. Basically, rather than us having to stock, an ASCII to BACnet, a BACnet to Modbus, KNX to ASCII, all these sorts of gateways, it's basically one gateway, and then you can choose what protocol you want it to talk. So that's really, really exciting. The only thing is, depending on the points, so we'll have to order one multi-box for 100 points, one multi-box with 600 points, one multi-box with 1,000 points. So each box comes in different points, but then in that, then you can decide what protocol you want it to speak to, which is a huge game changer for us stock-wise and flexibility.
It's a game changer for you guys as well too. So if you need to have something like this on your shelf, then you can change the functionality of the box purely by downloading a firmware to it. But you need to order it with it, of course. But what it does is they're trying to make things easier. So same hardware, changing the software. The other thing that's really impressive with Intesis, they're always working to not only make their products better, but easier to program. All these devices you see with Intesis are all programmed through the one software. That's the MAPS software. So you don't need multiple softwares. Really good, nice, easy to use.
So
the other thing
they also wanted us to make clear, don't expect to update the points though. Whatever be safe about however many points, because it's not easy for them to update that and they don't want to do that. So try to be safe on however many points you want to order for the multi-box. So I'm going to let you keep going.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sid, something else that had released previously too was RS485. So basically a BACnet or Modbus infrared controller. I believe it's unique, and there's nothing like it on the market. This is a real kind of game changer for the BMS guys. So basically, you think of all these schools, offices, factories that have got existing split systems in there that can't be integrated to their full overall head-end or BMS. Well, this is the product you need. This will talk to all splits that take IR command and convert that back both ways communication, so to and from communication with BACnet or Modbus. So again, just thinking of these parts of the market that are missing little things. There was also another interesting thing, Sid. They've just released another Modbus to KNX device, which was really tiny. So it's miniature, it's DIN rail mounted. It's got the same functionality as their existing KNX to Modbus gateways, but this is 100 points, which is really suitable for guys doing more domestic stuff as well. And I thought that was a really nice little product to bring out to try and make a difference.
We've been asked one question: can one box be configured to use multiple languages, IG, IP BACnet, and RS485? I believe you can only do 2 languages, but we'll have to double check that. But I believe it was only 2.
You can only do 2 languages, so you can only go ASCII BACnet or BACnet Modbus or Modbus KNX or KNX BACnet or whatever from one language to another. However, that protocol is available on BACnet IP and BACnet MSTP. So the RS485 version of it and the IP version of it, same with the Modbus and the ASCII. So serial IP and serial wire to wire.
I'm going to move on. So we've got Theben. So something exciting was the ion switches. So those ones, they come in ion 2, 4, and 8 button. So normally they came in a really plasticky, like shiny white finish. So now they've come out in a matte black, which felt really nice, and a matte silver. It was really exciting just to make a point of difference, because we know these switches are very, very, very price competitive. We've used them in some NDIS jobs and other ones like that. And then you've also got that Ion 108 as well, which is basically a whole room controller. They even have an app that you can connect to control that Ion 8
through Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So again, guys, this is a manufacturer that's not generally known for their aesthetics and their switches, but they're trying really hard to be relevant, and I can't congratulate them more. The Ion switch is a really competitive, well-priced, highly functional kind of switch that does a lot of things. But unfortunately, it was only available in one color. So now this has given it a bit more breadth, a bit more width, and a bit more option. So maybe where it wasn't acceptable before, maybe the matte black, it actually looks very good in person. We love the product as in robustness and functionality, and it just needed a little bit of extra options here, and Theben have delivered.
100%, a time and a place, you know. So moving on, we've also got the Theben 0 to 10 volt lighting device. So I'm going to let you go into that a little bit more.
So we saw a few of these. We're going to look at Zennio bought one out, 1, 2, and Theben bought one out too. So, you know, there's always a big problem when people get things mixed up. They never get it right between 0 to 10 and 1 to 10. This device will do both and all. So it works out whether it's a sourcing or syncing device, a real game changer for lighting control. We're seeing tiny little bits of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 lighting control interface coming back in. And this device is the one device that you'd need to buy, and it covers you for everything. So if you're not sure about if it's 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, buy this, or we're going to talk soon about the Zennio device, and you'll be covered.
As well, you got the Pixar. So before it was 230 volts, so they've just come out with a 24 volt option for that optical presence detector.
So, guys, I congratulated them and I slapped them over the back of the head at the same time. I said to them, what were you thinking bringing it out in 240 volt? Of course, 24 volt is what we need. So, again, that's a really good option. Now there's no excuses. We can run this device purely off the KNX cable, and that means that it has a KNX connection and the 24 volt through the auxiliary power supply, and that's it. A really highly functional sensor with a lot of ability, and I look forward to people. I think it will be really much more applicable with the 24 volts instead of 240 volt.
All right. As well, we got the DALI 2 broadcast channel, which is really exciting. Less time for programming.
Yeah, so guys, I think it gets overlooked way too much in our market. You know, and this is not just Theben, but, you know, ABB, Zennio, a lot of companies do have broadcast channels. But it just highlighted for me, you know, we spend a lot of our time and a lot of our integration time gets sucked up doing DALI addressing for no real reason. It's nice to see, I agree, nice to see DALI 2 from Theben. They're really deep with their DALI 2 devices. So this will do full color control as well as DALI 2 certified devices. Basically, you know, instead of having to program a DALI network, you can just run the cable out, link all the fittings together that are going to be, and it's going to be a broadcast control. So again, have a real think about it. Do you need to fully program your DALI network? Does it need to be flexible? If it doesn't need to be, and it's a school or it's an office, and you need to get out of this, this is a game changer with, you know, by virtue of saving cost, because the cost can be saved massively on the DALI, programming side of things, and you can just use it as a DALI broadcast. I thought it was a cool device.
Next.
And it's not two, it's DALI 2 4-channel.
So next we've got Think KNX. So as we know, they've got a few different screens already, and they've got some servers and DIN-Rail servers that run their apps. So now they've come out with the King server, which is basically a screen. It's the same size as the Ellie, I believe. Is that right, Simon?
It's a little bit smaller.
A little bit smaller. So it's got the standalone server behind it in that touch screen, which is great. It also comes in a heap of different colors. So you've got the white, black, silver, steel, and gold. I think we're always quite impressed with Think KNX and what they offer. We went onto their stand for a while and had a good chat with them, and yeah, the application that they provide is pretty amazing. Simon, I know you can have more to say.
So guys, I think KNX is something we've been with for a little bit, but I think we're going to have a lot more focus of it. They've really refined their software. It's a broad offering they've got. Basically, they've got numbers of servers and clients, and this is an idea of a client. It can range anywhere from high-end domestic to big commercial buildings. It has things like energy monitoring on board, buildings, remote access on board. It has an IP interface and router that's on board with their servers, and again, you can access it through the Think KNX cloud. The King, for those people that are using Think KNX already, this is just a really lovely little thing because we have the server, and now we can have something that's applicable. It's not quite big. 7-inch or a 10-inch touchscreen, which we're used to from Think KNX. It's a small little screen. It's very elegantly done, and it runs as a client off the screen server as it is. So keep in mind, we're going to hear a lot more about Think KNX. We're going to start to do some training next year for Think KNX. I really think it's got some value to it.
They also released, which we didn't include here, is a smaller screen, so the size of a Lisa, the 4.3-inch. That doesn't have the server behind it. It runs as a client off of the server. So that's also available as well for that flexibility of different screen options with Think KNX. Next, we got Weinzierl. So Weinzierl have released a Modbus TCP gateway.
So for you guys that are unaware, Weinzierl are the epitome of technical standards in KNX. They are the ones that write the white papers. They are the ones that develop a lot of the technology. They're highly, highly technical. They don't make a full range of products. But what they do, they make bulletproof and very, very good. They're actually known as a massive OEM throughout the KNX market. So a lot of your things like Crestron gateways and stuff are actually Weinzierl OEM originally in the back. So what they've done here, they've had a really nice Modbus 2-wire device, and now they've made a Modbus TCP gateway. Just another example of how they're always trying to improve the market. So this is usually a fairly good price product. It's a small DIN rail mount area. As you can see, it's only one pole, and it can be a master or slave.
As well, you got the DMX gateway, the 544.
Yeah, not much to say about this one, guys. This has already been out a little bit, but again, they're always heading in the right direction. It's another DMX gateway, 512 channel, all programmed through KNX. So there's no extra software or hardware available. You put it in, it just works.
Then you've got the IP wireless interface from Weinzierl, which is a very new and exciting product.
So guys, every one of you out there that's doing integration should buy one of these. You're crazy if you don't. Basically, you plug it into the bus anywhere, and it provides an access point for you to program directly through to the KNX bus without any network to worry about. You can walk around with your iPad and test. It can act as a access point, or it also can act as a wireless bridge, so it can connect another network to your KNX network. I would definitely have one of these in my bag, and one of the jobs I'm going to pull a switch off somewhere or go to a switchboard and get a KNX connection into any device, and boom, you straight got a wireless IP interface straight into KNX. Again, a really great time-saving device.
Then we've got Zennio. So Zennio, I'm sure some of you have already seen, have come out with this new Tekla switch, which is great. It comes in both square and rectangle format, so it can fit into a C-clip height or a European box, which is awesome. It is capacitive, but as you can see, the buttons are actually a bit indented. So when you click it, you can definitely feel the click, and it actually vibrates a bit back to you. Comes in a few matte finishes as well, and obviously customized to be able to use icons and other bits.
So guys, again, this is another really great step by Zennio. It's an Australian footprint type switch. It comes in a vast range of colors, highly functional. Zennio stuff is highly functional. So it's got temperature and humidity on board, I believe. The feel and touch of it was really great, especially for those, for the kind of price-sensitive people that want a nice switch, don't want to pay the earth for it. It's not dirt cheap, but I'm just saying it's a really good value adder. The indents were really nice because it like not any other switch, it just had a flat surface on it. Especially for our older community, I felt it was a really good thing. People want to feel where a button is and that they've pressed it. There's haptic feedback. A really great little switch there.
All right. And then we've also got the Zennio Mini Box 0 to 10 volt as well.
Yeah, again, guys, this was another little game changer. The beauty part of this is such a small footprint, and we all know that we're suffering from real estate problems within switchboards. We can't get enough stuff in there. This, again, was like automatically syncing and sourcing like the Theben one. Again, brought out Zennio don't do things in halves, and they brought out another really perfect product that is going to be a little bit of a game changer, I believe. So not only is this going to be used for lights, but it can be used for an analog actuator as well. So you can do 4 to 20 milliamp and a raft of little things. Great product.
All right. So just before we go into the question and answers, we're going to talk about some features with ETS 6 that we learned about when we were over there. So we're going to run through how you get supplementary licenses for KNX, how the cloud licensing works, and whether or not you actually need a dongle for ETS 6, which is quite exciting.
So, guys, we kind of got over there and we ran into Eustace Demarest. For you guys that have been there before, Eustace is a lovely guy. He's been to Australia before, and he's the CTO, so he's the Chief Officer for Technical in the KNX Association. Me and a couple of the KNX guys that from other countries for Ivory Egg, and we got and held down Eustace and told him exactly what we thought about the problems with ETS and the things they need to change, and they were fully aware. But some of the things that came out of this was quite interesting. So supplementary licenses, a lot of you might have realised that you can't buy supplementary licenses at all. Typical KNX Association, they've changed things and they're not really good at promoting or advising people what the changes have been. So now you can still do supplementary licenses. The key is, we found out, you must make an organizational my.knx account. Once you've made that i.knx account, your people that are certified, including yourself, your private accounts can be attributed to the main account. And under the main account, now it's called a bundle. So you can buy supplementary licenses now. It's just called a bundle. Everything's still the same. Okay, so just have a look up that. Give us a call if you're not sure about it. We talked about cloud licensing. So at the moment, one of the big steps for ETS 6 is to get rid of dongles. And they're straddling on both sides of things. You can still use a dongle. You can use cloud licensing. Part of the issue with the cloud licensing is how long do they give you before they have to renew your license? And what I'm talking about here is, you know, when you're working on ETS, we grabbed them and said, guys, you cannot use ETS and have to use internet. It's just they should be not included in the same thing, because a lot of us, we know we're on sites without internet. We're down in basements where our phones can't internet. How are we expect it to work if we can't cloud license it? So they've said that at this stage, there's a short time on it. I believe it might be an hour or two, and they're going to increasing that to probably a day, 8 hours or longer of the cloud licensing. So it's moving in the right direction for it. These days, you don't need a dongle with ETS 6. Again, you can use cloud licensing for ETS things. If you've already got ETS 5, then there's really handsome incentives to upgrade to ETS 6. We have, at this stage, you can't get ETS 5 anymore, which is fine. ETS 6 has come through. It's up to its 6th or 7th version now. It's ironed out most of the problems. We've been successfully using it. At this stage, you can't get ETS 5 anymore. So pretty soon, you're going to not have the option, because some of the products that are coming out from manufacturers will only be available in ETS 6 applications. That's the time you're going to have to change to ETS 6. For intents and purposes, it's not much different. It allows for better integration and programming of RF devices, so radio frequency devices. It allows for the cloud licensing, which is actually really nice. They're trying to simplify how you license things with ETS. So again, it's heading in the right direction. It's included for security and everything like that. I wouldn't have any issues in upgrading to ETS 6 of now. So guys, just signing off. I hope you got a little bit out of it. It's really hard to come back and give you everything about the light and build, but here's a little bit of insight to what happened. Just keep in mind that this light and build was a little bit behind because of COVID. So some of the stuff has already kind of been released, but we really think it'll be massive, and we hope to see you guys all for the 2024 light and build, and keep talking to about it, buy product, and we will see what we can help out with the next trip.
And we've got a few questions. So not all of these products are up on our website. The products that are not released yet will not be. We will try to get emails and marketing notifications out to you guys whenever the products are available. And we will definitely ensure to get them up on the website for whatever is not available at the present moment. And yeah, we will let you guys know whenever we're planning to go to the next light and build. We hope to have as many of you guys there and get a good crew together in the next 2 years.
Because apart from the light and build being good, the German beer is really good as well.
Belgium's better.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.